You know, we don't realize that we've been taught that there's a particular way of being human. And the dominant paradigm is Western, is white. We've been taught things about white people. We've been taught things about black people. We've been taught things about indigenous populations. We've been taught things about particular cultural expressions of music, of art, of dance, the way we move, what's the most respectable way to dress, all of these different things based on the cultural values or the values that underlie this civilization. Baha'u'llah has asked us to build a different one. And he didn't come to put Band-Aids on this one that we're living in. He came and rolled that one up and said, I'm giving you a new one. This is the pattern that you have to embrace if you want to build a new one.
And the Baha'i community appears to specialize in getting people out of their place, right? And putting them in places where they don't belong. This sort of educational process that very deliberately, very consciously, but very subtly, it erases any kind of distinction that would remain between oppressor and oppressed.
It's a pattern of consultation, it's a pattern of mutual respect, it's a pattern of cultural sharing, and it's also a pattern that takes people that have been on the margins and moves them to the center. Not just extending us invitations into the room, we've always been in the room. Like, when have we not been in the room? When have indigenous people not been here? When have black people not been here? We've always been here. In a house of a slave owner, a black woman breastfeeding a white baby, you're not gonna get closer than that. You know, that you're in the house, you're feeding the child, you're making the food, you're doing all of these different things. Us being in the room has never been the issue. The relationship when we come into the room has been the issue.
Something as simple as sitting together in somebody's living room and having tea and coffee and refreshments and chatting, right? That does not feel necessarily like a revolutionary act, but it really is, because our whole system says that we are not social equals, right? You have a whole different place. A cup of tea is serious business. If we're really friends with each other, then that's far more radical in the grand scheme of things. What Dr. King talked about often in the civil rights movement is the need for change of hearts. What's the mechanism for changing the heart? What's the mechanism for changing human relationships? That's a lot tougher nut to crack. But that cup of tea, it takes on new meaning in the context of that challenge.
And, you know, when we come together in these circles and we investigate truth in a consultative fashion, where we offer everything that we are to the group and the group takes it and we talk about it, it does change the power dynamic when we create space the way you need to have space created.
And then that's where you strive to listen with heightened spiritual perception to what they're trying to convey. And often it's just the sense of that I'm appreciative, I'm alive, I'm here, and I'm now. And your self-worth, you become, again, a member of humanity at that point.
That's powerful.